What are your memories of Tommy Cooper?
I met him years and years and years ago, actually in a cinema, watching The Man in the White Suit, and he sat next to me, and he laughed and laughed, and I recognised him. And then the next time I saw him, I said, when we were working together, I said, I saw you years ago watching the film The Man in the White Suit. And after that, I worked with him quite a lot, but particularly my husband, who's no longer with me because he is no longer anywhere, Bill Hitchcock, did a lot of Tommy's series. So apart from working with Tommy, I used to see him a lot, and Gwen, his wife, and in their home. And I knew him well. He was a great mate. And there was sort of a little clique of us at that time. There was Peter Sellers, Tommy Cooper, Davy Kay, and we used to knock around together. This is in the 60s.
Right. And I believe you're also sort of a member of, or associated with the Tony Hancock Society.
Yes, that's right, with dear Dan Pete and their lot. And that's because I did a lot of shows with Tony Hancock. And he was my best mate. I mean, he really was. We were very close.
If you had to sum Tony Hancock up in a sentence or a few words, what would they be?
Just brilliant. Never really understood how clever he was. Always wasn't satisfied with his performance. And yet he was brilliant. And Tommy Cooper was a different brilliance. He was the most naturally funny person that I've ever worked with, and I think I've worked with nearly every top British comic, but he was just a naturally funny person. Others sort of worked at it, but no one was as infectious as Tommy Cooper. But Tony Hancock, I thought was, just a one-off. And I've been really quite sad to see the series that they've been doing, because you can't repeat people like Tony Hancock. There's no Paul Merton look-alike to Tony Hancock, if you know what I mean. I'm not expressing it very well.
Okay. Taking you back really now in your own career, do you have any memories of your first professional performance, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
My first professional performance, well, I've always been on the stage, so it would be, whether it would be my first film or my first stage or my first television.
To be your biggest, your first big break, if you like?
Well, that would have been I'm All Right Jack, the film. I went along as a little actress and did an audition for the Bolting Brothers, and I was actually doing washing when the phone call came through and said, you've got the part, will you come down to Shepperton and have costume fittings? And I just couldn't believe it. And that film was very star-studded. I mean, it was Peter Sellers, Richard Attenborough, Margaret Rutherford, Irene Handel, Dennis Price, Ian Carmichael, just went on and on. And there was my name on a chair, and a dressing room with my name on, and working with those wonderful people. And it was a Cinderella story, and I suppose of all my experiences, that would have been the highlight, really, because I've never recaptured that thrill. I mean, you could have put my name across this hotel from one end to the other, and I just would have walked through, because it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. I don't keep photographs, I don't keep programs or anything, because I've sort of been there, done that, but that hadn't been there and hadn't done that. And it was very exciting. And was you very nervous for the audition? It's a funny question, really. I don't think that I was, because it had taken me so long to get there with bus, tube and train that I was sort of swept in and didn't have time to think about it. I did the bubble car scene with somebody as my audition piece.